And the person I'm going to be calling is she deserves all of the accolades. She deserves all of the appreciation for what it is that she has done to pull off this event 4 times in a row. It's no easy feat at all. And she's going to be taking us through Homeschooling 101. We're going to go to the basics. So all the questions you have: how do I start? What is even all this homeschooling? What can I do? What are the gains? What are not the gains? What can I use? What are the resources and everything? She's the one who's going to answer that question. The same way that Dr. Bola was going to Jojodola asking her questions. Tomi is she's my go-to. Like I'm asking her questions. I'm stalking her pages. I'm saving all the things. I'm on her Telegram, and any community she opens, I'm there, because I'm like, I want to learn everything that she knows, and so I can bring that to what I'm giving to my own children that I'm homeschooling. So please, ladies and gentlemen, can we welcome this amazing woman? She's an author. She's a homeschooling mama. She's a stay-at-home mama. She's just an all-round amazing person. Can we please welcome Tomilola Olatunde?
Wow. Welcome. First of all, it's not that deep.
It's very deep, bro.
It's not that deep. And thank you again for being here. I know it's not, but thank you so much for being here. So we're going to go straight into it.
Do you want to sit?
I think I want to, because my leg is paining me. Okay. So what I'm here to do today is to present you with would I call them facts? Just to present you with what it is. Not to say this is the approach you should take or this is what you should believe, but to show you what homeschooling is really about and give you the options that are available and show you and tell you exactly what these options are so that you can now make a choice. I'm not going to be biased about anything. I'll just give you what is, right? That's my job here today. So, welcome. My name is Tomilola, as you all know. My name is Tomilola, and I'm a homeschooling mom. I started homeschooling, my son is 5 years old now, and we officially started to ask the questions. You're willing to be open-minded. You're willing to unlearn what it is that you think you know, right? So as a homeschooling mom, first thing that you need to know is to have the right mindset. First of all, the right mindset in the sense that you know that it is possible, first, that you don't have to be knowledgeable, quote and unquote. So you think that, oh, I need to be an early years expert. I need to take a particular course. I need to do this, I need to do that. You need to first know that it is possible. And you need to know that you are equipped for the job and you can be equipped for the job. You are equipped for the job in the sense that the first thing you have is love for the child. The first thing you have is a duty to the child. You are indebted to this child. So that's what you first have. So you are equipped for the job. And then you can be equipped for the job, meaning that you are not a tree. You can always move. You can always learn, which is why you're here today, right? Because you also want to increase your knowledge. You want to know what else and what next steps I can do for my child and for my family. Those are the first important things. And usually, people always give quotes saying that, you are your child's first teacher. And sometimes it can give you some sort of pressure, thinking that, oh, everything has to be proper, everything has to be in the right place, everything has to be this, everything has to be that. Miss Tonya was talking about, talking so much knowledge about, classrooms and everything. But when you think about that, when they say teacher, the first thing you're thinking is, because of the traditional way we know, the teacher is the one that has the knowledge. The teacher is the one that is imparting. The teacher is the one that is showing you the way. It gives us so much pressure as parents to think that, oh, we have to have things in a certain way before we now go through the flow of homeschooling. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to read a quote that says, "When learning is connected to living, it is meaningful. It is not something that occurs at certain times, in certain places, with certain people. It occurs all the time, everywhere, and with everyone around us." So when we change our mindset, first of all, away from, having things a certain way, and then we see our children as, like every other person has said today, they are not learning only because they are here. If you go somewhere else, as you go along your day, as you go along living your lives, they are always learning. It's happening everywhere. It's happening every time and in every place that you go. We need to keep that in mind. So first, like I said, take the pressure off and change how you see it. Take the pressure off and change how you see it. So now, how do you now start? How do you start with the whole homeschooling, right? You have to think. I don't want to say that, you should put a time frame to it. Like say, we're going for the long haul. Or, okay, you're going to do it for a short time. First of all, you be on the same page with your spouse. I know that someone asked the question, like, okay, so how do you navigate it and all of that? I'll say be on the same page, just like Tomilola said, because there are so many decisions are tied to it. There are so many things that, is just better, right? It's just a better experience when you are on the same page. I know some people that have stopped homeschooling because probably the husband wasn't in on it. He didn't believe in it. And yes, with that, I believe that you can take a step back for a bit to get them on board. But if you believe in it so much, continue having the conversation. It's important that you continue having the conversation until you get on the same page. Sometimes they only have to see the results. When they do see the results, then they would believe that, oh yes, okay, you're onto something here. Some people are just ingrained into what they believe. And it's hard to unlearn. It's not easy. It takes you being a open-minded and a continuous learner to say, okay, let me just try and unlearn what it is that I already know, right? So getting your spouse on board, while it's important, don't also look at them as, the enemy that wants to not let you do this thing they are doing, right? But to understand that they too have their own set of beliefs and all of that, then just have the conversation continually and give grace to them too. Give grace to them. Also, next thing I would say after getting your spouse on board is have what you believe in. As a person, as a family, have what you believe in. So looking at your life, first of all, and your own educational background, what are the things that a simple place to start, you can, what are things that I did not like about my own education? Just thinking about what it is that you liked, what you did not like, can give you a snippet into what you believe in. So some people, one of the biggest things I did not like about my own education is bullying. I did not like it at all. And it was a defining portion of my life, because you are going to school and you are being bullied. Your parents may not necessarily know about it. Most of the time, growing up for us, our parents didn't know about all the things that we went through. I did not want that. So now, in my own life, there's nothing anybody can say to me. My child can never go to a boarding school. Why? Because I do not see the reason for it. And that was where I got bullied. My parents had no clue how bad it was. But they're just like, you're always falling sick going home. But it was just psychological. Immediately I get home, I'm fine. Do you get? And in school, I'm really sick. They're taking me to the sick bay. You're running temperature. But the reason why is because people are laughing at you. And then nobody will understand. But it's just a psychological thing. So when you get home, you're fine. But it's time to go back to school, you're falling sick, right? So see yourself and ask yourself like these questions, like what is it about your education that's a good place to start. Ask yourself what is it about education that you do not like. See even what is happening now in the world, and see young children around you, and ask yourself the questions. What are the things that you like about what you're seeing? What are the things that you don't like? What would I want for my child? So when you craft out all these things, it takes time, and sometimes it takes time. When I mean takes time, not that it takes 1 hour for you to sit down and write it. I'm saying sometimes it might take years for you to actually craft out what it is that you value, what it is that is your value as a parent in this generation, or what it is that you value for your family. It will take time. What is important is that you are consistently recrafting, going back to see and asking yourself those important questions. Then another thing is, the next thing to note is the laws of your country or wherever you are, right? So in Nigeria, we're in Nigeria, right? There are no laws, right, surrounding homeschooling at the moment. And we hope that they don't come and disrupt our lives. Because the truth is that there are some places in the world that they are really fighting for their children. They are fighting to be able to educate their children. But just because the government thinks, who are you as a parent to say you want to educate your child? You are not equipped, you're not this, you're not that. So there are some places in the world that they are fighting to be able to educate their children, and it's a big thing. Like, they have committees, they have policy, they are really fighting to educate their children. Even some, it's better now in Africa, but there are some places in Africa, like maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, they were fighting to home educate their children. So we're lucky for now, hopefully it says so, in Nigeria, that we do not have to fight to educate our children. We hope that, before they get their acts together, we shall be vindicated. But, yeah, the important thing is to know what the laws are in wherever country. I know that there are people that will probably watch this that are not in Nigeria, that are in Canada or the US or anything. So different states in the US now, for example, they have different criteria for what is acceptable for them. So some of them will require you to outline all the things that you are going to teach. Some of them will require you to say, this is what you need to, like the goals that you need to meet up for your child, and make sure that you come and submit a report. Some of them go every 3 months or something, quarterly. Some every month you have to submit a report. So, but for Nigeria, right, so now if you are not in Nigeria and you are somewhere else, and of course, some of you is still Jakwa, Abi. So if you are going, so you have to look up whatever laws are available in your country. It's usually because the mandatory age for most of these countries is like 6 years old. They won't disturb you if your child is probably under 6. But once they are like 6 years old and above, those are the mandatory ages for schooling. So they will now start asking you, or they can now come and start supervising. Some people actually send supervisors to your home to see what you're doing, because one of the realities, again, is child abuse. While we can say, there are many benefits to homeschooling, there's also the downside, which some of it can also be, one of it is child abuse. And they also want to ensure that the children that is in your care are safe, right? So you can say that, yes, you are the child, but there are some parents that are really abusing their children. So that's the reality of life, which is why the government will sometimes have to make those decisions. Yeah. So look up the laws around wherever you are and ensure that you are in standard, because some of these countries, the penalty is jail time. Yeah, some of these countries, the penalty is jail time. For Nigeria, if you're here and you know that this is how long I want to go. For example, if you're saying that I'm going to go the long haul, right? Or till they enter the university. So you think back, what university do you think they will go to? If they're going to enter in secondary school, what secondary school will they go to? And there are some exams you need to write in Nigeria. To enter JS1, you have to write exam. To enter university, you have to write exam. So these exams now, and I spoke to someone earlier, one of the people that I met, the first homeschooling conversations, she was homeschooling her younger brother, and she prepared him to write the exam and got an admission for him outside the country. So it is possible. You can always register as an external student to write junior secondary school exam and also to write WAEC and NECO, for admission. I mean, and most of the universities outside Nigeria, most of them, they'll just require you to have a statement of purpose and all of those things, which you can easily put together, yes. So we'll get to how you also make sure that you have everything that you need. Then the next thing, which is a very big one, is, your educational philosophy. The educational philosophy is basically, like I said, what you believe, right? And there are people that throughout time, they have, consolidated what they believed, and people have adopted it. So Maria Montessori is a person like me, like you, right? She believed that, children are human beings. They should be respected. They should be this. They should be that. She believed that in a classroom, children should be independent. They should be able to pick up this and pick up that, right? And do a self-directed learning with somebody, with like a facilitator around. So the person is not necessarily telling them, this is what you should do, but the person is telling them, if they need help. Or she believes that, okay, you need a time block in I think it's 1 hour or 3 hours, I think, for, just uninterrupted. Let the child sit down there and do whatever they want to do. Don't interrupt the child, don't do anything. But she's a person like you and I, right? And she's Maria Montessori. So that's what she believes. And people now adopt what she believes because they now see what she's saying and say, okay, what you're saying is great. I believe in it as well. And they follow suit. So they decide to adopt her style and her philosophy of education. Do you get it? So we should not think, this approach we're taking, we should not make it look too out there, right? Such that we now think, okay, it's not this. But look at it as these are people that have a set of beliefs, and then we are following what they believe, right? So there are different approaches that are available. There's the traditional approach, and I'm going to spend some time going through them, so that, because this is where people have really been asking, okay, so what approach should I take? What approach should I this? I'm going to read through all of them, and I'm going to tell you what values you hold if you want to pick any one of each of these ones, so that at least you will have an idea where you can start from, right? Okay, so we have the traditional approach, we have the classical education, we have Charlotte Mason, we have Montessori, we have Waldorf, we have homeschooling, we have the unit study approach, and we have eclectic. Right, so I'm going to read through them. Yeah, so the traditional approach, basically, this probably what you grew up with in the classroom. It usually has separate textbooks and workbooks for the various school subjects. You need to assign chapters in the textbook and answer the questions about the content. Usually the workbooks contain fill in the blanks and multiple choice question. It is also called school at home. You are going to be doing what is done in school at home, basically. Then we have the classical approach. It's a long tradition of education that has emphasized the seeking of truth, goodness, and beauty, and the study of liberal arts and the great books. What are the liberal arts? They are grammar, logic, and rhetoric. The verbal arts of the trivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, sorry about that. The mathematical arts of the quadrivium. Sorry. This approach to education also includes the study of Latin. The classical approach teaches students how to learn and how to think. So we have the Charlotte Mason. The Charlotte Mason style of education uses rich literature and living books rather than textbooks or dumbed down twaddle. Instead of worksheets or answering questions in the back of the book, this style asks the students to retell or narrate everything he has remembered from the reading. It also includes a wide variety of subjects spread over the week in short, interesting lessons. Her approach works with the way children naturally learn and presents a generous curriculum, including nature study, art, and music appreciation, and henceforth, as well as the usual academic subjects. Montessori. The Montessori method is characterized by an emphasis on independence, freedom within limits, and consideration of a child's physical, psychological, and social development. Montessori is practiced in different ways, but true Montessori education includes mixed-age classroom, student choice of activity from within a prescribed range of options, uninterrupted block of work time, ideally 3 hours. Students learn concepts from working with materials instead of direct instructions, specialized educational materials developed by Montessori, freedom of movement within the classroom, and a trained Montessori teacher. Waldorf. This method emphasizes the role of imagination in learning and strives to integrate holistically the intellectual, practical, and artistic development of the student. The child's development is divided into 3 stages. Early childhood education focuses on practical, hands-on activities and creative play. Elementary education focuses on developing artistic expression and social maturity. The secondary education focuses on developing critical reasoning and empathy. The goal of the world of education is to develop free, morally responsible children with a high degree of social competence. Homeschooling. Homeschooling is defined as a learning style that avoids set curriculum and allows the child the freedom to choose what interests them. It is not a free-for-all that avoids learning, but is an extension of the learning style toddlers and preschoolers engage in. Life is learning for homeschooling families. When a child shows interest in a subject, the subject is examined and the academics are learned through this investigation. Homeschoolers are not bound to a set curriculum, but can use books, classes, and other enrichments to accomplish their learning. A newer term, life schooling, is also being used to define the method of homeschooling. Then unit studies. Unit studies are time-specific overviews of a defined topic or theme that incorporates multiple subject areas into the study plan. Sometimes called thematic units, these studies often involve multisensory learning, where each activity is organized according to the thematic idea. The objective of unit study is to allow students to delve deeply into a given topic so that they can gain mastery of it. By exploring a subject from multiple angles, information is more likely to be retained. And then eclectic is a mixture of everything, right? So what are the values that you as a parent can hold for the different options so that you can know, okay, I believe in this, and which is why I will follow under this approach, right? For Montessori, if you believe that you should respect the child. If you believe that the mind of a child is absorbent, if you believe that the environment can teach a child, right? You can prepare an environment and the child can learn from that environment. If you as a parent believe that children should be independent but within boundaries, you might likely fall to the approach Montessori. If you believe in truth, for example, teaching children to think, liberal arts, discipleship, children should also learn by memorization, you might fall under the classical education. The world of, for example, Montessori does not believe in fantasies. They don't believe in all these fairy tales and all of that. But Waldorf believes in it. So if you as a parent, you're not saying that, oh, why should they have fantasies? You believe that it's okay for them to have fantasies, to dream, to have imaginative play and all of that. Yeah, so you can fall under the Waldorf approach. Then connection to environment. Teacher initiates and directs the learning. If you believe that the teacher should initiate and should direct the learning. If you believe that the materials that you need to use, maybe not necessarily toys, and nobody, you can learn from like natural things, leaves, all those things, then you can follow under the world of approach. Because the world of approach believes in all of these things. Then Charlotte Mason, they believe that children are people, right? That children are people, not just, oh, you know the way we can see children as, they're just children. They are just around here. So, but Charlotte Mason believes that children are people. Charlotte Mason does not believe in like textbooks, but they believe in living books. If you believe that children, they can learn from books that are not just saying, okay, this is what and what you should do, but they are actually instructing, they are learning, they are giving them new ideas. Charlotte Mason, you might fall under the Charlotte Mason. If you believe that the children's mind is not blank, because some people do believe that children are a blank slate, but the Charlotte Mason approach does not believe that. So then for the unit studies, so the unit studies is not basically based off of a philosophy of someone or around an idea. So for that, if you just believe that, you're not supposed to be categorizing subjects, right? You don't believe in like, oh, we should have maths and then English. But how is it connected? That's what unit studies is about. So if that's what you believe, then that might be likely the approach that you go for. Then homeschooling, if you don't believe that you need a curriculum, that the child is enough to teach you or to show you what they are interested in and what they want to learn and how they want to learn it. That's what the homeschooling approach is about. And then the traditional method, that, you know, there has to be an authority, right? Just the same way we were, if you believe in that. So it is not, I'm not trying to say, okay, this is the way you should go, but these are what they believe in. Now find where you fit in, because at the end of the day, we don't all believe in the same things. We cannot all say that, oh, this is, I believe in this. Because even you and your spouse, okay, how are we going to discipline? Because your spouse can believe that this child needs some spanking. What do I believe about children? Like I said, it's not going to happen in an hour. It's not going to happen in 2 hours. And you can be flexible. And you can start, and again, we've seen that there are people that take ideas from different philosophies. So sometimes you can believe that, yes, I need a prepared environment. And you can believe that, my child needs instructions, but it has to be flexibility in the instruction. So we can have a curriculum, yes, but will we be bound by that curriculum? No. So you have taken ideas from all of these approaches, and which is what is called the eclectic education. So you can take different ideas to form your own for you, for your family, for your children, what works for them, what works for you all. And that's what is the most important, as long as you are putting them in the fore, what is best for them, right? And sometimes you can pick an approach and they will not approach it with you. And that's the truth. You can pick an approach and then the child is like, it's not working. So, but will you now be stuck there and say, oh, it must work? Then you have gone back to everything that we've said we are going away from, because you're trying to force them into that box. You know, so, and again, based off of, most of all these philosophies have, you know, what they do per development of the child. Again, I said there are people that form these philosophies because it's what they believe, right? So they believe that, oh, the child at this age should be this. The child at this age, you too, you can also think. Let's think about what we see and what we believe for our children. Then, planning and routine. Once you're developmentally too, those things will be not tasking for them. So have a schedule. Have what you know that, you know, once they are small, you can still do oh, morning play, afternoon play, this sport, at least you know. And then they know that as they continue doing it consistently, they will know that this is how. And you want to do it early, you want to start early so that when they are older, it will not be hard for you to, because trust me, when you have children in your face all day, every day, you want them eventually to know what they are supposed to be doing part-time. While they are younger, it's inevitable. You go through the stress of what it is children bring, right? But as they grow older, you need to start so that they can know what they are supposed to be doing. So it's not going to be a struggle having to say, oh, at this time. So they know that, so as they're older now, they can know that, oh, if it's time for me to play, I don't need to be in mommy's face or things like that, right? So a sample like schedule can be wake up, do your morning routine, play, brush, bath, eat, circle time for the younger kids, and sometimes as they're older, the circle time can evolve. I know that for my older son now, is no longer interested. So it's no longer interesting. It can evolve to something that can be more brain tasking for them. Maybe have a one-on-one time with mommy or something, you know. Then you can do your activities. So if you work with your curriculum, you can now put in that after that, and then lunch, nap time. We don't have nap time in my house again, sure. Snacks and evening routine, which might involve outdoors, and then your evening activities, and then your evening routines. And also, have the resources that you need, right? So there are resources that, sometimes I say that they are basic, for a basic list of what every homeschooling family should have. And it's not a must, but as you keep going, you will see that it is essential for you to have those things. So like having cardboard in the house, having crayons, having glue, having, what else is on this list? Some people don't like Play-Doh, but me, I'm one of them, I don't like it. So I don't like Play-Doh because it's everywhere. So, and of course, you don't have to have, but things that you know that it will help you on your journey, because if you are with your children all day and then you want them to learn, or sometimes you want the environment to teach them, you have these things around, they can easily go and pick up the thing that they want to do. And it's not maybe, because like some people have said now, school time is not more than 1 hour for some people. Some people is like 30 minutes, and that's it. So okay, now 30 minutes we are finished with the school. What are we going to be doing? It's true. That's what we're going to be doing. So you have different things in the house that sometimes my son is asking me, so I'm bored. You're bored. How can you be bored in this house full of many things? My friend can find something. And then he will come back and say, oh, I want to paint. You know where the paint is? Come and take it and paint. Do you get? So now it's everywhere and it's within reach for him. So you don't have to. So yes, sometimes when you're starting out, they are nice to have when you're starting out. But as you go along, you start acquiring them small. Because the truth is that they've said, as some people have said, it's homeschooling does not mean that it's a cheaper alternative, right? But you find out what works for you part time. Make sacrifices where it's needed. That's why the vendors for the books I brought are thrifted books, because that is what I buy. So I'm not going to go and buy a 7,000 naira book, but they are there. But I'll buy a book that is 1,500. Do you get? But they are book, because I know that even now, Seth, he can tear it. So why am I spending my money buying something that is? So when you start, right, it might be aspirational to say, oh, let me have all of these things. You don't have to have everything part time. But as you keep going, as the years continue to keep growing, there are some things that you will just always find in your house. Like cardboards, you will just find it in your house. It will always be there. And you buy things all the time. They deliver things to your house. The cartons, don't throw them away. You can always use them and reuse them. There's some painting that is in the house. We have painted it. We have kept it. It has dried. You come back again to that painting and still paint it on it again. Do you get? So there are some things that we have used for 4 years now. There are some I said, I closed my eyes and I said, please throw them away. The others, I said, this one's keep. But I can go back and reuse some of those cardboards. So we should not be stuck that, oh, we have to buy some things. But as you go along, there are some things that you will still find out that you need. So all those practical things that is just, you're just going to have it. So just buy them one after the other. You don't have to buy them all together, because the truth is that when you are is investments, because they do run expensive sometimes. And then there are some large purchases that you might need, like a printer, right? Like a printer. I'm not very big on workbooks or worksheets, personally. I am not. But I still find myself printing things. So what am I printing? What are we doing? My son will not sit down and do a worksheet. He won't. Because sometimes I find that, so even math, okay, so maybe after I'll talk about my homeschooling journey. Let me just run through this. Then assessments and record keeping. Now this one is very important because unfortunately we're still in this world and we're still in this system that everybody wants a show and a tell. Everybody wants to know what you have done and what you're doing. Have a way to assess your child. And when I mean assessment, I don't necessarily mean an exam. You might choose to do that, but I don't necessarily mean an exam. You can assess your child by observing them, especially when they're still very young. What you can do is observe. Like, observe them. I see there's some things that I know that my child would do because I've been observing him. I don't necessarily, so if he's playing, for example, I don't interrupt. You get? I'm not saying I do that 100%, I don't interrupt 100%. There are some times that, I have to ask questions. But for the large portion of it, I observe what he's doing. And I see that, oh wow, you made that connection. I'm keeping track. I'm keeping notes. There was a time that I used to keep a book, right? So I used to keep a book per his age to write down, oh, these are the things that he has mastered. These are the things that he already knows. This is that. He is not aware. He doesn't know that I'm assessing him. He doesn't know that anything. I'm not stressing him to show me what you can do. But that because I'm seeing it and I'm observing, I can know that, okay, he can do this, he can do that. And once I know he can do it, why am I asking him again? Are you getting? Why am I asking him again when you can already see that he can do it? Okay, so my 5-year-old does it to my youngest son, and when people come, we say, like Rico. Like, so your children are not party tricks. They're not supposed to be showing and be telling. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. That's the thing. You don't have anything to prove to anybody as long as you know. That is what is important. As long as you know. You're not here to prove to the whole world that, oh yes, homeschooling is a good option. But sometimes they will just sit. And sometimes the children will embarrass you. You tell them, come and do, they will embarrass you. You say, Shebi is this one that, like a baby now, you say, at home they're clapping, they're shouting, and he clapped though yesterday. He clapped though. And you are the one that is saying to yourself that he clapped though, but the child is not showing and telling. So you don't have anything to prove to anyone. As long as you are documenting, make sure that you document. And sometimes the documentation is not just for you. Sometimes the documentation can be maybe when they want to enroll. Also, take pictures. You can use pictures to document. Use pictures to document. Use videos to document. It does not have to be report card or anything. And also some things that some people do, because sometimes if you are the one as the parent assessing your child, realistically, sometimes you can be a blind spot because you are full of love, right, for this your child, and you can miss some things. Another way to do it is find somebody else that is an expert that can help you assess your child, and ensure that it's not an assessment that maybe, that would stress you and stress the child, but to ensure that they just give you like a report of maybe what they see or what they observe from your child. Of course, it might not be as accurate as you that is living every day with them, but if they can spot something else, maybe to even validate what you are doing, right, is also a plus. But if it's also something that you have missed, for example, maybe at age, maybe 5 years old, a child is supposed to have a good pincer grasp, and then you have missed it because you do not want to stress your child to be writing, right? It's not only by writing you can know whether they have a good pincer grasp. Do you get? But if they don't have that good pincer grasp, they will not be able to write well. Yeah, but you might miss it because you don't want to stress your child to write, right? So having somebody else observe them can pick up those things that you might have missed. Okay. Yeah. So if you are not sure of your path, because truthfully, it does take time, and you can always switch. These are the things that you can start doing, right? You let the developmental stage of your child guide what you do. So if your child is, say, let's say 8 years old, for example, and you're like, okay, what developmentally should my child be doing at this age, right? But online, we are thriving online, right? Abby, do I agree that we're thriving online? We're thriving online because, we see ourselves, we talk, we find out what the person is doing, we have meetings, we have lives and all of that. We talk about our challenges and everything. Online, we are thriving, but the one we need to work on is the offline one. But we're in stress and traffic, but we are going to get there. By God's grace, we're going to get there. No, seriously, find a community. Once you say homeschooling, on every post, you will see they will tag me, they will tag Toki, they will tag Adeshola, they will tag. So we're not much, and we know ourselves. So anytime you say homeschooling, they will tag everybody. And so that way our community is growing. But you will always find support. You always find support. So even the ones there are Nigerians that are not in Nigeria. So Lola is there. There's Fumike, Rabbit Hole Curiosity. So these are our people, right? They are there. They are always happy to help. Somebody was telling me, okay, it was you. I said, Charlotte Macy. I said, talk to Funke. She's always happy to help. And that's one thing I've seen about these amazing people in this community, is that they are always happy to help. Just like me. I'm happy. Disturb me. Disturb me, not by calling me. No, somebody's calling me right now. So somebody has asked, for busy parents, you are busy, right? You have a full-time job, and we've seen, which is the reason why I wanted Lola to be here, even if she was going to be online. I wanted her to be here so that we'll see that it is possible. Our children were thriving, and we saw it because she shares what they do. Our children were thriving, but she was not there, like literally. But she found a trusted person that was her caregiver. How will I say it? Stressed. If there's another word for that, stressed. But you as a primary caregiver, you are involved, you are immersed, body, spirit, soul, right? I'm up in the night researching, finding what to do, thinking about, what's best, what's this, what's that. And that's a reality of it, right? Because somebody has to do it. Right? Somebody has to do it. So even if you are going to work every day, you are going to do the mental work of putting together what they are going to do. We're buying curriculum. How are we buying curriculum? What curriculum are we buying? What are we doing? If you're not using the curriculum, where are we going to go? How are we going to get the money to go where we want to go? We have to get the money to go, because nobody cares that you're homeschooling. Who are you? You get, so these are the mental things that you have to go through, and it's a reality of it. You have to think about care for yourself as well. Like, you are there every day, even if you have a tutor and whatnot, you are also still there, right? So you have to think about care for yourself. Then there's also the part where you are running on one income as a household, And even if you are starting a business, people are saying, oh, Tommy has 2 businesses. So get the money for the business. I mean, when you are doing business, you know that every day is not paid day. Every day is not, it's not as if, no, you are swimming in money because Tommy's running a business, or you are running a business, or you have 2 businesses. It doesn't mean that, what's the cost of me having that business? Am I sleeping? I'm not sleeping, because I have to wake up in the morning and dance and sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You have to wake up and sing Twinkle, Twinkle, but you have to still wake up in the night and still look for curriculum and then do the business again. That will give you the small money that you need. Do you understand? So it's a huge challenge. It's a reality of the life, but opportunity cost. That's just it. What are you willing to sacrifice for the life that you want? What are you willing to sacrifice? That does not mean that the reality is not there. It is there, and to stare at us in the face. Goodness, who is this person calling me? So the work, like I said, one income household, you have a major income on the family, on one person. And that also means that one of also the things that happens is, let me just say this realistically, one of all the things that, because so now, my husband has to work. He has, sometimes it's like, I'm like, you're not involved now, be involved. But I tell myself again, okay now, if he's involved and sitting there in the house, uncle, yeah, now, how will you get the money to go where you want to go? Do you get? So there is also that. If you are blessed that your spouse is maybe working from home, that he can be involved while still working, that's beautiful. But the reality of some people is that the husband still has to go out. Then there's also that togetherness that you think that you need as a family as well, that might not also be there, because the reality is that somebody has to, because the children will still need a roof over their heads, right? So, and then you as the primary caregiver, sometimes you now have to start doing something else on the side to get small money here and there. And that introduces another round of burnout and stress for you. So it's not a walk in the park. It's not all roses and blooms. Honestly, I do not see any downside for the children. I don't. I've not seen. It's for you, the parents, that the downside is. I've honestly not seen, because the thing that people say a lot is socialization, and I've not seen it. That's the thing, where, because their children have different personalities, and some people will end up becoming socially awkward, whatever you try to do, whether you expose them or not. Some people are introverted, whether you expose them or not. But then, it's not because you're homeschooling that they are. It's just their personality. So, I don't see any downside for the children, but the con is just for the parents that are involved. And then for the children, the benefits, freedom, they have tailored learning approach, flexibility, you have a strong relationship with your kids, effective learning. You find out that your child is independent, can be independent, because there are still some children still in your house that will still be following you around. There's nothing you can do about it. They will be clinging you everywhere. So, and one of the benefits is a truly socialized child. The truth of socialization is not about playing with other children. That's not what socialization is about. What socialization is the outcome of playing with other people. What do they learn when they are interacting with other people? That's what socializing is. So a child needs to learn to share. But can they not share with you? Are they not learning the principles of sharing by sharing with you? They are. The child needs to learn how to speak politely. Doesn't have to be with another child. But even if you are talking to another child, will the child be able to tell them the appropriate way to do it? No. But you will find out that most homeschooled children can talk to people that are older, people that are their mates, and people that are younger than them. And that's what we want, a truly socialized child. Wholesome child. Not just, okay, so with my peers, I'm free. But with adults, I cannot talk. What's that? That's what we are. So we have, so even sometimes now, self, somebody that can be 2 years older than me, I'll be like, auntie, what would you like to be called? Do you know? So if you're in an office setting and they'll say we're on a first name basis and you're finding it difficult to use a first name, we don't want that for our children. And that's what it truly, so you're free. You're not bound by, but you can now teach them, you teach them respect. You're not saying they'll be disrespectful, but you go as sometimes my son says some things to me, and sometimes I'm like, and I think about it, I'm like, he's respectful, he asked for something politely, so why are you vexing? I tell myself, so why are you vexing? Like, so because he has your dust, like, who gave you your dust to come and ask me this question? Or in a polite manner, and I'm already vexing on his behalf. Do you get? Like a normal African parent. Something I had no guts to do to my own parents. You guys, you know, so you see that your children are, you know, become truly, truly socialized. Yeah, so we have various resources and various articles that, you know, if you need more to read more, I can always share with you. So on that note, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them, but if not, that's where I sign out.
And we give a round of applause. Thank you, Tommy. Wait, hold on. Should we say we have questions?
Sorry.
Calm down. Just wondering, does anyone have any question? Do you have any question you want to give to Tommy? Because I feel like this was a very detailed presentation. She covered it all, the pros, the cons, the how to, the basics, what and what you need, what you don't need, what the outcomes are. I think it was really fantastic. So once again, can we please appreciate Tommy for that? So with that, we have successfully come to the close of this event, of this conference. I would, on behalf of the organizers, on behalf of Tommy, want to appreciate everyone, kid from as